Barefoot on Bondi, Meghan cradles her baby bump on Cindy Beach and wears 880 pounds maxi dress before she and Harry kick off their shoes to join an anti-bad vibes circle with surfing mental health group. Harry and Meghan visited some of Cindy's most iconic sites today as they kicked off their shoes and took part in an anti-bad vibes circle on Bondi Beach before the Prince scaled Harbour Bridge. The city, which has been gripped by Megmania, was filled with thousands of royal fans as the Duke of Sussex and his pregnant wife travelled back east from Melbourne to kick off the fourth day of their tour down under. Harry and Meghan, who cradled her baby bump in an 880 pounds AUD $1,615, USD $1,148, maxi dress, arrived at Sydney's famous Bondi Beach first thing in the morning, joining the One Wave group to discuss mental health on the iconic stretch of sand. During the session, Meghan spoke candidly about her pregnancy, telling another expectant mother that it felt rather like jet lag, while Harry was praised for his openness about his mental health battles. Harry kicked off his shoes as soon as he hit the Bondi sand, before his beaming wife, wearing a dress by Australian designer Martin Grant, followed suit and unstrapped her heeled wedges. The royal couple then spoke to children at a nearby school about equality, where a proud and passionate Meghan told students how her upbringing and first job taking out the trash had made her the person she is today. The Duchess was then given the afternoon off as Harry scrambled up Harbour Bridge with competitors from the Invictus Games, an international sporting event for wounded or sick armed forces veterans created by the Prince. In their final engagements on Friday, the royals met with Australia's opposition leader Bill Shorten and his wife Chloe Shorten, at Admiralty House, then the Prime Minister and his wife Scott and Jenny Morrison, at Kirkby House. Mr. Shorten said it was a privilege to meet the Duke and Duchess, despite being a staunch Republican. During a trip to Bondi Beach at the start of the day, the Duchess of Sussex revealed that she had woken up at 4:30 am to do yoga and told the group it was so good for healing your mind. Meghan and Harry visited the famous beach for Fluoro Friday, a session aimed at encouraging discussion around mental health which included an anti-bad vibes circle and yoga practice. The couple arrived to Cheers at 8:30 am and were both presented with leis, a pink garland for Meghan and a blue one for Harry. Charlotte Connell, 35, was at the beach with her son Finn and said the Duchess had been suffering from the double whammy of jet lag and pregnancy. Mrs. Connell, who is 23 weeks pregnant, said, "Meghan told me that pregnancy was like having jet lag." She said she was up at 4:30 am this morning doing yoga in her room as she couldn't sleep. "It's a bit of a double whammy for her," she said, as she has both the baby and jet lag to contend with. Hundreds of royal fans took to the beach, hoping to catch a royal wave on the latest stop for Harry and Meghan on their 16-day tour to Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and Tonga. The pilgrimage, almost mandatory for any Cindy visitor, follows a comprehensive safety briefing with climbers hooked up to wires running up the steel structure throughout the climb. Getting to the top requires climbing 1,332 stairs up on arch, across the span, and down the other side through sometimes ferocious winds. All those steps burns about 500 calories, which will help maintain his trim figure ahead of a sumptuous dinner with Mr. Morrison and opposition leader Bill Shorten at Admiralty House this evening. Harry's cracking pace meant he completed the up to 3.5-hour climb in less than an hour. Following the Bondi visit, the mother-to-be and her husband arrived at MacArthur Girls' School in Parramatta, shortly after students had finished a final year exam. Meghan changed from her Martin Grant beach dress into a sleeveless navy frock with a pale blue band on the bottom of the skirt by Roxanda. The design, which retails for £1,295, AUD $2,376, USD $1,690, is Meghan's first nod to the British fashion industry while on tour. Harry slipped on a dark navy blazer and checkered shirt, wearing the same beige he knows he donned while chatting to locals on the sand at the world-famous beach. The location of the school visit was supposed to have been kept secret from students, but secrets are hard to keep in the era of social media. Most of you would probably have got up this morning, got ready for school and turned up thinking it was going to be a normal day at school. Is that right? New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian asked in Assembly before the royals' arrival. The answer was unanimously no. The Premier added, "You knew I was coming. Did you know anyone else was coming?" To which the room replied, "Yes." But the whole school erupted in shrieks and cheers as Harry and Meghan walked into the assembly. The pair smiled as group of dancers entertained the loved-up royal guests with a performance to the Frankie Goes to Hollywood version of The Power of Love, before they spent time talking to students about the girls' social justice project and youth empowerment. The Duchess of Sussex told the students how her upbringing at an all-girls school and her first job taking out the trash has made her the person she is today. Meghan, who has even put her feminist manifesto on the Buckingham Palace website, said she felt emotional hearing their passionate views of the students. Harry, who is now said to identify as a feminist, told the girls he wants men to add their voices to the fight for equality. Men can help as well by getting involved. "We have to," he said. "We need to get men's voices involved as soon as possible." His wife, who has been a long-term advocate for women's rights, told students that their projects, including making boxes of supplies for women in need, made her proud. "You guys all remind me so much of myself when I was growing up," she told 14-year-old girls. "I went to an all-girls school which was incredibly diverse as well." I think being around such empowered young women, it becomes something that you all just grasp onto to understand your world. It's made you confident, well-spoken. You have an intention set to really do something to change the world, and you have to keep it up. It makes me so emotional. You're doing really good work and I'm so happy that we're here. We give you our full support. Don't stop, the prince reiterated. Get more people involved, guys as well. Teachers explained that the girls have been taking an integrated course on top of their usual studies, to give them 21st century capabilities including creativity and critical thinking, with a core focus on making a change in local communities. One project saw them make boxes of supplies to donate to vulnerable women via police stations and refuge centers, while in another they created notebooks to pass forward for students to write about the women who have inspired them. Coincidentally, one pupil had written about the Duchess long before the royal visit had been announced. Talia Henhan, 15, told the Duke and Duchess how another group had created picture books to teach younger children about poverty and encourage them to treat those less fortunate with kindness and empathy. The couple nodded as Talia added, "The younger you get your children educated on things like this, the easier it is for them to grow up and be aware of it and make a difference." Kindness and empathy lacks big time in the world, Harry said. "It's so great you are passionate about all of this. You realize this is the generation that's going to make all the difference?" The Duke and Duchess were introduced to teenage boys and girls from the NRL's In League in Harmony project, which aims to unite young people from diverse communities to be advocates for positive change in their communities. Sitting separately, with a mixed-sex group each, the couple listened to young people's growing up in Australia, in day-to-day lives. As one young man told the Duchess about his part-time job, she empathized, "My first job when I was 14, I remember taking out the trash, all sorts. It give you a good work ethic, right?" She joined groups of students from across different schools and Cindy who have been introduced via the program, which teaches them, "Everybody belongs." "It's so important," said the Duchess. "All these people you know of in your neighborhood, now you know them when you are united. You are proud of where you're from, you can champion where you're from and make people see it for what it is." Harry, sitting with a second group of youngsters, joked that he was clinging on to my youth at the age of 34, said he now looked to the younger generation for inspiration. "We're so lucky that wherever we go in the world, we're finding young people like you guys," he said. "This sweeping wave of kindness and optimism and empathy that seems to be lacking in some of the previous generation. You guys get a kick out of that, right?"